As recently as the 1980s, uh, Muslims in France were not even identified as Muslims. They were referred to as Africans, Maghrebins, Algerians. They were referred to usually by their country of origin. It's only in probably the past 20 or so years that they have become they've become known as a Muslim community. And in that Houellebecq piece, I was drawing on Houellebecq, who argued very persuasively that in no way do Muslims in France comprise a community. They don't speak with one voice. They're not represented by one group. They don't vote as a bloc. They're a population, and a very differentiated population. And Houellebecq sees a monolith. He sees Muslims tout court. He sees a community. And yes, this is one of the problems, I think, in France today, that Muslims are seen as a community. But what's striking about Houellebecq is how little France's historical relationship to its quote-unquote Muslims figures in Submission. In fact, the historical reference points are much earlier. He does not even talk about colonization. Colonization actually really doesn't appear in Submission. It's all about the Crusades and the Battle of Poitiers and so forth. He does not concern himself with the colonization of Algeria or the War of Independence, which was such a convulsive affair, not only in Algeria, but in metropolitan France. He does not talk about those things. Because, Houellebecq's main passion really has been about what he sees as these metaphysical mutations in civilization. And you find that in his Elementary Particles, which is about the crisis of Kantian positivism. You find that in some of his other novels. Houellebecq is someone who is a melancholy atheist. He's an atheist who feels that one can't really live without God. And Christianity is not about to undergo a revival, and so Islam, right? That's the rationale in Submission. As many people have noted, if you go to an Islamist book table in parts of the Arab world, one of the Western books that you'll often find translated is Samuel Huntington's Clash of Civilizations. The idea that the West and Islam are engaged in a clash of civilizations is very much shared by the right, the European right, and the American far right, and professional Islamophobes, and by radical Islamists. Both think very much in civilizational terms, and Houellebecq, in a sense, shares those premises. He just happens to be a very good novelist. He's very funny, and he's a very astute observer of the surfaces of French life. His work, I think, is a very telling symptom of the conversation that's going on in France today, and the anxieties of quite a few French people. He's hardly a national spokesman, but he represents something.